End the practice of drawing our congressional districts so that politicians can pick their voters and not the other way around. Let a bipartisan group do it.
By voting yes, you can push back against the Republicans trying to give themselves an unfair advantage in the midterms, and we're counting on you.
Well, and of course, Democrats say Republicans started this whole thing in Texas. Laura, what do you say to that?
Yeah, well, I will say that Texas had an influx of about 2.5 million people in the past several years. They needed to redistrict, and that's also a very red state. You look at a state like Virginia, and it's purple. As you just pointed out, it's 6-5. They're almost evenly split, and they want to make it 10-1. It is completely unfair. They know it. And again, they don't care who knows that they are trying to weigh the scales. It is very obvious.
2016, when Eric Holder, right when he got out of the Obama administration, started the Democrat Redistricting Commission. And then in 2022 and again in 2024, they pressed to pick up seats in New York. But with all that said, it's about Virginia. And Virginia in 2020 held a constitutional referendum, amended our Constitution to have nonpartisan, independent redistricting. 2/3 of Virginians said we want politics out, politicians out. And now we have Abigail Spanberger saying she's going to ignore the voice of Virginians, override them, and try to adopt the most gerrymandered map in America. Today we have what is assessed as the fairest map in America. I don't love it. It's 6 Democrats and 5 Republicans, but it's fair. And she wants to override it and turn it into the most gerrymandered map in America. It's wrong. Virginians should stand up and vote no tomorrow.
Do you think that Republicans, or even, I understand that there are some Democrats who don't like this either, is there a chance that this might not happen?
There is a chance, and that's because it is viewed as being such a gerrymandered grab of power, and they've lied to us. I mean, even the Washington Post came out and said that this is the most brazenly dishonest campaign from the yes vote, and they effectively endorsed the no vote, the Washington Post. And Virginians understand this. And so what we're seeing is not only Republicans coming together, but independents and a lot of Democrats. So this is going to be close. Listen, it's an uphill battle because they have poured $70 million into this. That's more than they spent on the governor's race in a very short period of time to try to fool, deceive, and trick Virginians. But the reality is a no vote is for the fairest maps in America.
As I understand it, Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader in the House, has put in about $20 million of his own campaign cash to help here.
The Democrats win the presidency in both houses of Congress. I think on day one, they should make Puerto Rico, D.C. a state, and they should expand the Supreme Court to 13. Fuck it, eat our dust. They've done everything they could. They held up the 2000 election. They stole it. They've stolen Supreme Court seats. They've gerrymandered everything that you can, and the only way to fight this is don't run on it, don't talk about it, just do it. Just, okay, we got 54 senators, and we got 13 court members. Thank you, goodbye. Because you're not going to get a fair shake any kind of way in this system.
I want to play that clip because Carville is basically just explaining what the Democrats' plan is moving forward. We're not going to tell you what we're doing. We're just, if we get in, we'll tell you anything that we need to tell you to get in here. And then we're just going to do whatever it is that we want to do so we can maintain power. I want you guys to listen to this clip.
Listen, let's talk about the last vote there in Virginia, the presidential vote. Vice President Kamala Harris won by about 5 percentage points. So this state is relatively split with a left lean, but 90% of House members from Virginia being from one party.
90% of Virginians are not Democrats. That's true.
Correct.
But about 100% of Virginians want election results to be respected. We're deeply worried that Donald Trump will try to interfere with the election results this November or in 2028 because we saw him do it before. And we have to have a Congress that will stand up to it. In 2021, all 5 Republicans in Virginia went along with Donald Trump in his effort to overturn election results. And so we're giving Virginians a chance to vote, which Republican states have not done, about whether they want to have a congressional delegation that will stand up against Donald Trump's tyranny.
Yeah, it's all about stopping Trump. Simple as that. It's all about stopping Trump. I mean, these people suffer from serious conditions, this serious condition called TDS.
Absolutely. But I don't know why anyone is still listening to Smeagol, aka James Carville, right? Because he just rubs his hands and he's just like, the Democrats are definitely his precious. He's still around for whatever reason. And I don't understand why.
All of them are still
Because
around.
yes, they need to go. But here's the thing. I like that he's saying that, right? Because when Donald Trump says, just do it, just go and do it, they, this is authoritarian. This is, fascism. But they have been doing it. They have been doing it for the longest. I don't understand how this is a response to Texas when I live in one of the most gerrymandered states. Okay. We have a 7-1, right? So we have 7 of the seats, all Democrat. I live in a county that is mostly Republican, but we're represented by the Democrats. I don't understand how that works. And then you have places like Illinois. Illinois is right now, and unless Virginia wins this, the most gerrymandered state. It is a Democratic state. And then, of course, you got good old California. So when you add all of that up, how is this a response to Texas when they've been doing it longer than I've been alive, and probably when everybody else was in diapers and then some? So I'm just trying to figure out, why do they think the voters of Virginia are dumb? Right? They want to make everything into Northern Virginia. And then they want that to stick into 2030, which begs to say they want it to go into their agenda of the 2030 agenda, right? So now you have no say in your representation and you will own nothing and like it. And so they've pretty much destroyed the tax system over there in Virginia. So I always say on this program, it's the people. The people have a choice today to either understand that this is not about Donald Trump. This is about Democrats gaining power, because Donald Trump will be out of office. And when he's out, there's nobody to stop, because rhinos aren't going to do it in the Republican side. And the Democrats, they don't have any policy, so you might as well forget it. So this is a pivotal point that we're at. And I hope Virginians take notice. And that goes for the Democrats and the Republicans.
No, you're absolutely right. If Spanberger and her ilk gets their way, this is what Matt is going to look like. This is where they are now. Obviously, it's a 5-6. They would basically mirror Maryland, which is 7-1 right now. And word on the street is that they're trying to gerrymander the one seat. They're going to cross the bay they're going to cross the bay over into the Eastern Shore and bring in voters that are on the Anne Arundel and PG County side, so they can gerrymander Maryland, where there's no Republican representation, although have at least 40% or 35-40% of the state is Republican.
Absolutely. Westmore is doing that right now.
Yeah, they're trying to do it right now. This is the current map, in Virginia. This is what they're trying to do. The proposed basically just destroys, everybody in that state. If you're a conservative, you get no say. And then you add in what they're trying to do with the popular vote situation, to where, it doesn't matter, what happens with the Electoral College. If the popular vote, all the votes automatically go to whoever wins the popular vote, and they're hoping that it will be a Democrat. I mean, this is so crazy, man. But Spanberger, she ran as a moderate, and she showcased herself as being anything but a moderate. She is a super far left progressive that's, out here to do the bidding of the DNC. Simple as that.
Yeah, I think the reason there's such a fixation on Virginia in terms of the redistricting and gerrymandering is because Virginia is one of the few Democrat or purple states left where they have the ability to do it, because for the past 20 years, the Democrats have been slowly putting themselves in these supermajority gerrymandered states anyways. So Virginia may be the last 3 or 4 seats they can get. My problem is not that the Democrats are trying to get 3 or 4 more seats. My issue is, why aren't the other Republican red states that have room to do the redistricting not doing it. Texas went and did it and gave us 5. I think Ohio might have given 1 or 2. But the fact is, there are about 13 more red states that have room to gerrymander and didn't do it and wouldn't do it. And so, again, let these Democrats have these 3 or 4 more seats. Because, like I said, I think that they have figured out, or I shouldn't say figured out, they know that we are on the cusp of figuring out that they don't have the voting population. So what they're now trying to do is fix their seats in Congress so that they can do exactly what Carville said and get their Supreme Court and get their 4 more senators between DC and Puerto Rico. And that way they no longer need the voters. No matter what the majority does, it'll either have to go to the Supreme Court or go through the Senate with the 4 new Democrat senators. So they basically are trying to move beyond elections. They're trying to move beyond the voters because they don't have them. So what they're trying to do is rig the systems so that whether or not they have the voters, they still can have control. Republicans, I am a lowly, barely witted person. If I can figure that out, you who are being paid, who spend 12 to 14 hours a day and have over a number of years to be strategists to the Republican Party, what are you people doing? You are sitting on the sidelines, seeding this midterms, which will be the reversal of everything, what gains we did make in these first 2 years since the 2024 election. You will see them right back in 90 days if you all don't get it together. I can't understand what is the RNC. Charlie Kirk talked about how feckless the RNC is with Ronan McDaniels, but it seems to be far more systemic than just Rona and the crew that she had around her, because whoever's in there now does not seem to be have any plan that anyone can see about how they intend to secure this midterms. And the things that you could do, you could gerrymander these states. That's what you could do. There are things available to you right now that don't require weight, that just require a little bit of effort and a little bit of fight. And you never see it from these people. Every time it's time to lay down, they can't get to the floor quick enough so the Democrats can step over.
Do you think it's a situation where they're playing politics, where they kind of lick their finger, toss it up in the air, and kind of see which way's the wind blowing, and that's the reason why they decide, hey, it's not worth fighting?
I think they're afraid. I don't think they're leaders. I don't think that they are people, regardless. See, there are 2 types of people. There are people who are going to look and see which way the wind is blowing. And then there are other people who say, I'm going to force the wind to come my way. And these people are not people who think, if I walk this way and I show the way, the people will come. So I'm going to go. I'm going to gerrymander the states. And eventually, after the first 1 or 2, when people see, oh, wait, now we've got a guaranteed 4 or 5 or 8 or whatever it's going to be, more seats in Congress. Okay, now the weak ones can have permission to jump on. I think the Republican Party, and I think this is not completely a critique of the Republican Party, because that's true for most people. Most people are not the type of people that say the force of my will is enough. Most people do what's comfortable to do, and they do what everyone else is doing because that's comfortable. So they need consensus. They can't go to everybody else says, okay, we'll all go. That's not the way to get things done. Somebody has to be the one that says, no, I'm going, and you all are going to come. I think they're weak.
Chumps. Yep. Absolutely. That's all I can chop it up to, because why wouldn't you? They just wait. They wait and wait and wait. Donald Trump is the only one who sticks his neck out.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're scared of. They're afraid of being called this, that, and the third. You're already racist. So play it.
Yeah, just
Go
do
on
it.
and do what
Just
you're
do
gonna
it.
do.
Yeah, that's the
I
one
just
thing
want
that
to
that folks do appreciate, about the president is that, hey, he's just like, I don't care what they say. I don't care what it makes me look like. If it makes sense, we're doing it. Simple as that.
As long as I win in the end.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify. Ron DeSantis is doing it. I know we said what red states. Ron DeSantis is doing that in Florida right now. He is redistricting. He called a special session to redistrict in Florida.
And I want to say this too, and I'll be done. But the only reason Tim Kaine can sit up there and talk about the fear of interfering with the elections is because we have yet to expose the fraud of the 2020 election. And the more we wait to do that is what allows these people to continue to tell this lie with no evidence and no proof. And why didn't Shannon Bream sit there and say, what evidence do you have that the 2020 election was interfered with, or that he was they just can lie on Fox with impunity.
Hey, listen, politics is a dangerous game. And I think that people need to wake up and realize that when you allow the wrong people to get into office, they're going to do a lot of underhanded things, and it's going to affect everybody around you. We need to take this thing seriously. Yes, Celeste said that they're trying to make it so that they can get beyond the voting process and they can maintain power. We've said that here many times. What I disagree with Celeste on is that don't let them have nothing. Make them fight tooth and nail for every inch of wrong things that they get, because that's part of our problem. As you said earlier, Celeste, that the Republicans are not fighting wisely. They're not fighting prudently. They don't stay on top of what's going on. They're always worried about this and that when they need to be realizing that they're in a war. This is a political war. And you can't play games in a war. You got to know what you're doing. You got to take the proper moves. And that's why I love Trump so much. All of his warts and faults. That man loves America. And he understands that when you get power, you have to use that power to do the right thing for your people. Now, they told us in the Congress that they ain't for America. When they were asked to stand up, they didn't stand up. So you know that they're not for America. American citizens, whatever city you're in, you need to stay on top of your politicians and stick it to them when they step out of line. This is dangerous stuff, man. Politics can destroy your life. And people's lives are being destroyed. They have been destroyed because these people are greedy. They love power. They hate Trump. No matter what he does, he's wrong, because their goal, and they make it clear, their goal is to destroy this man, destroy his legacy. They don't want anything that he does to be considered a good thing, even if it helps America. When are the people in these cities in America going to wake up and realize who are over them and the attitude they have about this nation? This is some serious stuff, man. So I think they should fight back, expose it. Yeah, gerrymandering has been going on for a while, but the Democrats are the masters of gerrymander. We need to keep that record of their gerrymander before the public, so that every time they complain about what Trump is doing, put their record in front of the public's face, because that's what diminishes their argument against Trump. Trump is not the problem, and they want him to be the problem so that people don't look at them as the problem, and they are the problem.
No, Minister Dancer, I think you're absolutely right there. No different than, what has transpired, when it comes to Iran. You can't negotiate with terrorists and crazy people.
He can't
do
the
only
right.
thing that they understand is force. And I think that's the same thing, when you're looking at the Democrat Party. They're willing to step, stomp, kick, and do whatever it takes to maintain or to achieve power. We need some folks on the other side that are willing to, hey, you're going to have to get down in the mud with them.
Thank you.
You got to be willing to do it. And that's the problem. We have too many people that they're trying to do things in a PC way instead of saying, nah, these folks want to get into the mud and fight. You got to be willing to get in there with them.
Or you're going to lose.
Or you're going to lose.
Public service announcement to the people in Virginia. I hope you learned your lesson from Abigail Spanberger, and you don't go out and listen to Obama, because Obama was one who got you, Abigail Spanberger, in the first place, because y'all were so excited that she was out in the cookout and Obama said she was the one, and y'all said, yes, we're running to support the lying moderate Democrat, because that's exactly what Scott said last night. She's a lying radical Democrat. That's exactly what she protected to be moderate. But she was lying the entire time. She played in your face. And listen, every time she talks and laughs, all I see is the Wicked Witch of the West, because that evil laugh that she portrays every single time, because she knows she had this plan the entire time, and y'all were fooled. Listen, that was a wolf in sheep's clothing for y'all, not for us, because we saw it plain as day. We have discernment. But I'm telling y'all right now, we have said it over and over in this channel. If Obama says yes, you say no. If Roly says yes, you say no.
Can't go wrong.
Happy, but all the way to Virginia to sit up in somebody's church trying to preach the word of God, don't even know scripture, trying to twist scripture to convince black people why y'all should get out there and vote yes. Now, let me tell you, you vote yes. I don't want to hear crying about the taxation that is tearing your community apart. I don't want to hear anything about, but she took us out, so our vote doesn't matter anymore. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear nada. Because if you choose to listen to Obama, I'm not going to call him a spawn of Satan, but I mean, he's close. Listen, if you choose to listen to him, I can't do anything for y'all. So I'm telling y'all, public service announcement, y'all better send SOS, text messages, emails, smoke signals, whatever you have to throughout Virginia. And y'all better go to those polls and say, no, 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 no. Everybody's right here. Listen, I used to work on the left. Gerrymandering was part of our first, middle, and last name. Everything was gerrymandering. It was everything was gerrymandering. That was the first time I was like, oh, okay, so what's gerrymandering? Well, we have to create. They taught me this. They taught it to me. So I'm telling you, don't let them fool you to think, no, this is something that Donald Trump and MAGA and the white supremacy, because that's another thing, Celeste. Georgia was trying to be district, and so was Louisiana. But they went and they said, they took them to court. They're still in court. Why are they in court? Because they're saying the gerrymandering is to keep the black vote down, because they don't want black people voting. So now they made this a whole race thing. At the end of the day, y'all, I'm telling y'all, Democrats, everything that they blame Trump for, that's literally what they're doing. Okay, everything they blame Trump for. Every time they say Trump is a dictator, Trump is a this, he's trying to oppress the vote, he's trying to do everything. It's literally what they're doing. And by now you should realize after Eric Swalwell, because everything Eric Swalwell blamed Trump for. Okay, so please, Virginia, as I told New York, I'm now telling you, New York, their mercy is they're getting a vote for their governor right now. So God is showing them mercy. Virginia, here's your mercy. You better vote no. Because if you listen to Antichrist Obama and Timu Obama Jeffries, y'all gonna be in problems.
I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. What are your thoughts about any of this? Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Consider joining the ARP family, or you can buy your brother a coffee. That link's in the description box below. And as always, keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you guys next time. Peace.
It is God who arms me with strength. Yeah, I'm battle ready. He trains my hands for battle. My heart stays steady. But thanks be to God, he gives us the victory. Through my Lord Jesus Christ, fear can't live in me. I was down to the dirt, red clay on my shoes, old pain in my shirt, oh so bruised. Then the Lord hit my chest, kicked air from my breath, put power in my step.